The teamless Terran, he is in the red. BYUN. And the Alpha X best Protoss in the world. Of course, not taking into account Estrella. The one other better or similarly skilled Protoss. He is ZOUN. Alright, BYUN. He's maybe the teamless Terran, but he's also the scoutless Terran. Wondering if he is going to do that scout today. Sometimes he does, right? He mixes it in now and again, trying to ensure that he doesn't get completely blindsided. Or at least that. It's always a gamble for people still to try and do a bit of a cheese against him, right? And even if he doesn't scout it, most of the time he will be fine anyway. Somehow. How? I don't know. It's somehow. There it is. There's a Reaper on the way. Alright, looks good. Will we get that probe just kind of blocking that command center as well? Sometimes ZOUN has a bit of difficulty getting on top of that command center entirely, but looks like, you know what, yeah. Was a bit too early this time around. That's always the, like, it's a difficult timing to hit, really, right? It's like anticipating when your opponent has 400 minerals. Right? That's a difficult thing to do. You can't just check the bottom bar as we're doing. It feels like ZOUN sometimes it comes in a bit too early or a bit too late. Tiny thing there. Kind of showing the intricacies and difficulties people still have with a game such as StarCraft 2, even though they are amongst the best of the best. Reaper does gain entry into the main base. Adept hastens himself back home. Kind of getting duped there though. Alright, yeah, this should be it. Adept should go to the low ground here. Or the shade, I mean. Yeah, oh, beautifully done. And then this shade should be able to finish it off, right? Unless if there's a cliff that he could utilize. I don't think there is any here. Yeah. Alright, so what did he do? He got one single probe, and he saw that was a double gas. Didn't see anything else. I suppose he saw the natural base as well, right? That's about it. We know that's the Stargate on the way. That's the next step of attack here, being unlocked for ZOUN. And BYUN went for a single Hellion afterwards. That's going to be his next step for the scouting here. We'll be trying to keep tabs on what's going on the map with that unit. And he's going to go for a Banshee, right? Raven? Raven. Right? Must be Raven. Yeah, there we go. Alright, Tech Lab also for the factory coming up. We see a Phoenix opening here for ZOUN. That is a good way to really play safe. I like the Phoenix opening, especially versus BYUN. I think it's a good way to kind of stop him from doing the harassments. It's better than the Blink Stalkers, right? A bit more mobile, a bit more versatile, I suppose, with well, at least the maybe not more versatile, but definitely more mobile. Alright, already getting the Robo on his way to start unlocking those Colossus, of course. As ZOUN just wants to try and keep control of the skies here with these Phoenixes. Doesn't want to go too far out on the map, of course, because, well, clearly, you know, the Phoenixes are there as a tool against harassments. And if he starts harassing with them himself, then I mean, again, he doesn't have anything against the harassment from BYUN here, the potential harassment. Now, we know BYUN is staying home, right? We can see that he's kept that Raven back at home. He's keeping the Marines back at home. No medevacs are out. So, yeah. Of course, so I'm kind of figuring this out now as there's nothing coming across here. Or nothing showing up at his front door, so... Or the back door, anywhere, really, in his base. So he's going to try a little bit of harassment here of his own. We'll get the Raven, in fact. Loses one of the Phoenix, but I think that's actually worth it. That Raven, much more valuable over the head of one single Phoenix. And maybe a little bit of HP as well on the other Phoenix. Yeah, getting a Raven like that, beautifully done. It's going to secure the ground here a lot better for the Colossi, of course. Normally what you do see is a bit of another attack coming in here for BYUN with those bio forces, of course, and the Raven that stockpiles quite a bit of energy. Interference Matrix the Colossi, and then, you know, you're just kind of sitting there with, well, mostly Phoenixes up in the sky, and they don't do all that great in the straight up fight. So, you know what, that is a great pick-off. A great trade there for ZOUN, I'd say. Kind of stopping that potential from happening already right off the bat. As these Phoenixes in an okay position as well. Saw the medevacs there, but ooh, needs to respond to this. There we go. Okay, trying to get rid of the whatever is still coming out. There we go. It's mostly Marines that he's just being able to pick up. And yeah, very well done. Not losing too much of his Phoenixes there. On the right side, though, there is another attack. We'll be able to jump on top of that other Colossus there. That was a bit on his lonesome. The attack on the left side did get cleaned up, but it got 9 probes as well. The Nexus here most likely is going to go down also. I don't think that is going to be saved here. So ZOUN here actually getting himself into quite a bit of trouble with the first initial multi-pronged attack from BYUN, even without that Raven. Okay, trying to spread out against the Widowmines. Well done indeed. Has to be careful, still 2 Widowmines there. Does he still have that Observer? Yes, he does. Trying to bring that back home now to deal with the Widowmines. Yeah, that's a perfectly fine opportunity for BYUN to kind of just move backwards. He's got a base ahead of his opponents. And you never really want to have the Protoss behind on bases here, of course. So very well done there by BYUN. Secures himself a good position. Well, with more than 10 workers ahead on the worker counts, I think ZOUN's not even looking anymore in order to get himself back into an economy game. Just wants to go straight ahead, straight full force. Right now he's on, well, similar army supply. This could work. But let's see how good the force fields are and how good the control of the bio is here out of Mr. BYUN. Those Widowmines already causing quite a bit of hurt here for the Protoss player. We'll be able to get on top of that command center, and that is going to go down as well, I do believe. Come on, Stalkers, don't lose this now. There we go, does get it. Still quite a reasonable force here available for BYUN. Trying to get rid of the bunker, does manage to do that as well. Wait a moment, there were SCVs in that bunker. Okay, a good surround coming in. The Colossi are still both alive for the period, but that is one that does go into the abyss. One still remains, but I think BYUN will be able to hold on. And yeah, ZOUN without a third base of his own that he started creating, taps on out of there. Makes sense, makes sense. GG is called. So BYUN being able to take game number 1. I like the overall awareness for BYUN there, realizing, you know what, I'm allowed to lose this base right now. This looks quite committed, and if it's not, I'll just run across the map after being able to kill this Protoss army very convincingly. I was able to do so very convincingly. So yeah, nicely done, nicely done. What's up, TY? The TY fanboy, how you doing, buddy? You want to have the bracket? I'll give you the bracket. 1 second, please. There you go. There you go, buddy. Of course, remember, guys, there's also a Matcherino if you haven't checked it out already. Please do so, right? Helps us out, helps these players out, helps StarCraft 2 out overall. That's all I say about it. I know I don't have to. I know I don't have to convince you guys. You guys would already do this anyway, right? That's the true spirit of the StarCraft 2 community, after all. Always looking out for one another and always just kind of ensuring that more StarCraft 2 will forever continue onwards. That is the small price we pay. Filling out codes on the internet. Who knew? Who knew? Has been used up. That's a good sign. Alright, here we go. In the bottom right side, the teamless Terran, he is BYUN. Top left side, the blue Protoss, fighting for Alpha X, he is ZOUN. Man, we have BYUN in so many of our events. It feels like BYUN should just be an honorary Alpha X member, really, at this point in time, right? I mean, he gets so much of the prize money that we're giving away anyway. So, I mean, honestly, should he not just be an honorary Alpha X member? Is this not something we can do? Sushi, are you here? Just send him a jersey and we're like, yep, you're in now. See if he wears it. ZOUN looking anxiously around, trying to figure out whether or not he's being cheesed. We'll be going for the Nexus here before the Cyber Core. No, actually, never mind. Thought he would. He tricked me, that's for sure. Still kind of rubbing the sand out of my eyes here as well, guys, in between. Still got to do the morning stretches and stuff like this. That's why I'm sometimes kind of falling quiet here. In case you were wondering, probably not. You're probably like, well, I guess there's nothing to say. Guess there really isn't anything to say anyway, right? But that's where you're wrong. There's always something to say about StarCraft 2, such as a little probe making his way through the bottom, trying to stay hidden. There he goes, puts down a pylon here, right? Gonna put down, oh, Twilight Council. Could this be a man trying to go for DTs? ZOUN definitely struggling against BYUN overall. Like, he really, like, this is not his best matchup. Versus BYUN in particular. Right? That is just not his best matchup. He's the killer of innovation, but BYUN just, he's just like, what's going on here? What's even happening? Going for the Robo as well, so yeah, this may just be a scouting probe, actually. Bit disappointing. Thought for a moment he was planning to make a warp-in pylon on this side. Could still do it, right? Could still just plop down a pylon here. Why not? Always have that potential for a couple of zealots warping in. Ain't too bad. You feel BYUN struggles in best of 9 or best of 11 matches? I mean, it's not that many best of 9 or best of 11 matches, right? I think we saw like one time BYUN with the best of 11, and he lost one game. Well, no wait, did he lose 2? I think he lost 1 or 2, right? Wasn't that versus Creator? All patience, something like that. Something like that. All right. So how many gateways are we on? 4 gateways. Warp Prism here. All right. Let's see. How aggressive are we gonna get? Especially trying to get me back on the ball here. In the chat. It's like it's a 4K blink, guys. Versus the 3cc. Should be good. Should be good. Here we go. It's true though, to be fair. Quite a lot of Marines here, but Marines not the best tool against those Blink Stalkers, of course. The Marauder's going to be able to pack a little bit more of a punch. Did have the 3 barracks behind this, so comes down to control. ZOUN, careful. Okay, we'll utilize that War Prism to gain entry. It's always a better way. Now he's going to be able to blink out when needed. And so far, yeah, doing alright. Only losing a single Stalker, getting a couple of those SCVs. Not bad. Needs to get a bit more, of course. Ooh, that is fancy. Look at all those SCVs here. Gonna target those down immediately. Repair is quite strong, though. That probe is still sitting there, by the way. Just completely confused with what the idea is of that probe. Imagine if he grabs the probe now with the War Prism and he starts cannon rushing in the main base of BYUN. Just instantly War Prism in warp in position. Start getting some cannons underneath. This is something people used to do, remember? Just trying to make cannons into other people's bases with this. Oh, that was a fun time. Fun time. Different times, but fun times nonetheless. Yeah, I think the time is ended here for these Stalkers. Doesn't quite have the firepower anymore. The burst damage now of these bio units rather large. And it goes to Stim. Yeah, good trading overall, I suppose, right? Reasonable blink micro there. Only losing 2 Stalkers in total. Getting a majority of the Marines there. 10 and a Marauder. 10 workers also. I mean, it's still very playable for BYUN here, though. I still feel like he's in a good position. Going on the offensive might be a bit of a struggle at this moment for BYUN, but I mean, I'm not sure for how long. And I suppose if he does manage to get past these Stalkers efficiently enough, then that is not really going to be too much of a hassle. Oh, yep. Alright, Medevacs definitely could provide this. Of course, the Observer immediately getting wind of it. BYUN seeing the Observer, though, as he was passing on by. Trying to see whether or not those Medevacs were still going. Moving in for the interception, perhaps, on the left side. The left side also had a Marine there, so actually being spotted out immediately. May cause BYUN to move backwards here. It's a weird mind game with these two at the moment, being like, alright, well, I saw you moving towards the 3rd base through the bottom. Let me try and get my units set up there for the defensive again as well. Upgrades 1-1 available now for BYUN here. Gonna pack a bit more of a punch. Will it be enough? Actually, quite a lot of those Immortals and Sentries not quite participating. Guardian Shield quite important in these types of situations. A very aggressive blink forward. Couple of Widow Mines there do connect quite nicely onto the Zealots, but the Immortals still in the backside, not really being able to participate. But when they do, with mostly Marauders left, they could definitely do quite a bit. Great targeting, though, coming out of BYUN. We'll be able to pick off quite a lot of their units. The Stalkers that are low, and also the Immortals, of course, whenever he has the opportunity, gets whatever he can. 19 workers go down once more, and ZOUN definitely finding himself in a better position than he was in previously. Taking, once again, the better end of that trade, I suppose. Wait a moment, is that true? So 1,150 gas lost for Mr. ZOUN, and only 225 here for BYUN. What has been the resource collection rate? Interesting. Alright. Crazy. He killed 30 workers. Yeah, he's only ahead with, what, 5? It's a Protoss. That is... Questionable. Yeah, alright. You know what? This could be quite scary, actually, for ZOUN. Okay, reasonable force fields here. Utilizing that tiny little choke point. BYUN immediately realizing, you know what? I can just turn the rocks into dust as well. There we go. Pebble rocks. It's going to be a lot easier now. Careful with those stalkers. Making me rather anxious. A couple of zealots here trying to gain entry into the natural base. Still quite a force here. Should be able to hold their own. The medevac's now moving towards the main base. Are they going to the main base? Yeah, they are. Alright, that is quite open as well. A couple of stalkers being warped in, trying to be like, you know what, I know you're coming in here. But they did not know they were coming through the back. With the mines on the ground already set up shop. This is a very scary attack, of course, especially considering there's another attack coming into the 4th base right now. Let's see which one of these will be able to do the most. Okay, getting rid of the main base attack. The 4th base, though, still under quite a bit of stress. Quite a bit of tension here. I think maybe we have ZOUN once again kind of just struggling to have enough units where he needs them. The attack overall, I thought it did better trading-wise, but apparently it really did not. Mostly just getting those SCVs and not having a big enough probing count really to make up for his losses earlier on. And now it's just BYUN overwhelming his opponents. Yeah, GG is called. It may sound like a boring way to kind of put this, but it feels like ZOUN just not really on top of his pro production in a way. And falling too far behind versus BYUN.